These white racists, they want heterosexual white men running everything.
You're the one making this about race. They're the ones making it about merit.
They're the one that's making, Leland, they're the ones that are making this about race. Now, I didn't know you want to do this dance with me tonight. You should have told me I would have wore different dance shoes.
I focus grouped them, and they are really, really tired of being accused of either racism or sexism because they voted for Donald Trump. And it's one of the reasons why so many of them did.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. Since Trump took office and, dropped the atom bomb on DEI, putting the final nail in this ludicrous nonsense's coffin, the race hustlers in the mainstream media are not dealing well with it. I have a bunch of clips I want to share with you today, but the first one is going to be of Donald Trump because I want to show you exactly what set off Abby Phillips on the CNN, where they had Frank Lutz, a pollster, dropping facts on there, but these people are so indoctrinated in their BS that they couldn't see it. And then I have a few videos of some race hustlers not doing so well. Let's get it.
We don't know that necessarily it's even the controller's fault.
On DEI and the claims that you've made, are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. The people in the helicopter should have seen where they were going. I can't imagine people with 20/20 vision not seeing, what's happening up there.
I think I'm alone in this group. I think I'm kind of afraid to be alone in this group. I surveyed these people. I focus grouped them. And they are really, really tired of being accused of either racism or sexism because they voted for Donald Trump. And it's one of the reasons why so many of them did. I sat on this stage with you and got chewed out when I suggested there's a better language to reach out to voters, that the Harris campaign is missing what they're looking for. And I say the same thing here. Americans just want to be Americans, not hyphenated Americans, not female Americans, black Americans, Jewish Americans. They just want to be Americans.
How do you think it makes people feel, black people, women, any person who has immutable characteristics about themselves, to be told every time that something happens, that because they exist in a particular role, it is their fault? How does it make them feel?
How does it make people feel when they're told that they're a racist?
No. I mean, answer. But answer my question.
I am, because these are predetermined considerations.
No.
You were going
You're
to
assuming. You're telling me I'm.
Do you
calling
want an
you,
answer?
Well, you're not answering my question. You're telling
Yes,
me.
I'm trying to.
You were telling me
Actually,
that
Your response is in bad faith. I mean, what she is saying is something you're not responding to because it doesn't address why Donald Trump immediately went to DEI as an explanation without any evidence whatsoever for what looks to be an inexcusable and certainly a very devastating and tragic plane and helicopter crash a couple of days ago. And instead, you pivot to talking about how terrible it is that some people who voted for Donald Trump are being called racist and sexist. You're refusing to grapple with the central
tension. My understanding.
Frank, it's an option.
Hold on.
Frank, it's an
because
option
my
for
understanding
Trump.
is of the voter.
Frank,
that is what I do.
It is an option.
What about
for
the immorality
Hold on.
and the incompetence
Frank,
of
it's an
blaming
option
DEI
for Donald
for what
Trump.
happened?
You guys can all jump on me. That's fine.
No. I'm not jumping on you. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. Okay, look, it is an option for Donald Trump to respect his voters and not scapegoat race in a situation like that. He chooses not to every time. Why?
He is saying, and I do not defend him, and I've not defended him on this program, because there are things that are more important than Republican and Democrat, and it's why some people lost primaries, and some people are not members of Congress anymore. I'm trying to tell you the truth.
Well, look, you don't have to listen. I just won my
Mondare,
primary, but you don't have to lecture me.
Hold on, Mondare. Let me let him finish.
I mean, if you're gonna throw shots, I'm
Mondare, just a second. Let me let him finish.
This is why this show is such a challenge for me, because I really am, and I've been on this show and criticized him many times. I've been on this show and praised him. In the end, how do we get beyond how we look? How do we get beyond how we sound? Because in the end, we all have a right to a point of view, and I respect yours, regardless.
Yeah, I just don't respect the gaslighting and the bad faith conversation.
I also think you cannot talk about getting beyond all of those things, race, hyphens, whatever it is, when at the highest offices of the land, you have someone saying, because there is diversity, there is a lack of merit, there is a lack of quality, there is a lack of experience. That is a racist view, that people who have characteristics that they cannot change about them, that don't tell you anything about their intellect, about their experience, are by definition not experienced. Do you understand that?
Yeah, funny that they like to talk about diversity. Look, this is a panel on CNN that is generally, most of the time anyway, represented with more minorities than whites. In this case, we have 50% white people, 50% black people. Black people are 13% of the population, yet in most commercials, on most news shows, they're represented at a way higher percentage than that, and these people are still complaining about it. Guys, you've won. I'm going to give you my thoughts at the end of the video, but this guy is right. Everything should be merit-based. If you are born in America, enough with the hyphens. You're not an American Hispanic, you're not a black American, you're not an Irish American, you're American. And the sooner we can get rid of that nonsense, these hyphenated terms, the better off we can be. Look, nobody should be penalized for something they have no control over, right? Their gender, their race. But you also shouldn't be promoted for that. Everything should be merit-based. It's 2025. I'm going to give you my thoughts at the end of the video, but let's get back to it.
I do, because I listen to this. I hear this, and I internalize it. And for those who feel like they're being marginalized, we have to do more. I agree with you.
It's not even just about being marginalized. It's just about recognizing
I just said I agree with you.
I know. I'm saying, but look, I'm not trying to use academic. I'm not trying to use academic language to talk about this. I'm just saying that there are people. Look, a couple days ago, there was a Harvard-educated Olympic track star was told that she wasn't qualified to have gone to Harvard, that she was basically a DEI admit to Harvard. I mean, that just from a human
that's
perspective,
wrong.
that is
we
wrong.
all agree that's wrong.
May I ask you a question
we
about this?
all agree with that, but there's nothing I can say to you on this panel for any of you that's going to satisfy
No.
you.
May I ask you a question about this?
And that's the problem.
So you're saying Americans felt alienated by the way Democrats talked about some of these things?
Yes.
Okay, but do you think that this is the antidote? I think that's the question here. I mean, you can be critical of terms that Democrats have used, but it's not clear to me how this approach is better. In fact, it seems exponentially worse to be scapegoating, whether it's hyphenated Americans or otherwise, any group of Americans for this tragedy, to be purging government data from websites under the guise of DEI and rooting out wokeness. I guess that's where I think there's a bit of a disconnect here. It's like,
I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you. And you're probably surprised. That's the goal in all of this. How do we get to the point when we are judged by our merit, when you're judged by our performance? I've had two experiences. Number one is my house almost burned down in Brentwood. I wasn't even there to see it. And I want the best people possible to be on the front lines fighting that fire. I landed 55 minutes before this plane landed. I could have been on it. So I feel it. I hear this and I get it. And you're correct and you're correct. The question is, do we beat up on it and yell about it and complain? Or do we try to get a solution? Do we try to get beyond it? And the problem is, there's nothing I can say that's going to convince you.
But in order for us to get beyond it, Donald Trump and the woke right, they have to stop talking about it. The reason that we're talking about it is because it was a deliberate decision that the Trump administration made. I would much rather be talking about the economy and some of the other things that I know that the Donald Trump administration is going to do, but we're not in the now second week of the Trump administration. We are ending it talking about DEI because this was a decision that they made.
And to be clear, our discussion of it is not out of nowhere. It's not something we created out of whole cloth. It doesn't mean that we're harping on something that the American people would rather we not talk about. It is responding directly to something that happened.
And the only person who, to your point, injected race into this is Donald Trump. We could be having a very normal investigation into a national tragedy, comforting these families. But this is the conversation that not only do they want to have, but they are making it the only conversation around what happened here.
Our boy Frank here tried to reason with these people, tried to bring some common sense to this convo, but all they think about is race, 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 gender, 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 and January 6th. Surprised that didn't come up. I think because they've been screaming from the rafters hysterically about Trump for a decade, and it's not possible to keep up that level of performative outrage because that is what it is. It's performative outrage. You're going to lose steam at some point. All the woke ideology stuff, all the Marxist stuff that they've been trying to feed people is an ideology that is so ludicrous it can only be sustained for so long. And it went on longer than I expected it would. So you have to wonder, are some people on the left, maybe the classic liberals, to some extent, even maybe just subconsciously, are somewhat relieved that DEI and gender ideology and all the rest of this crap is coming to an end? These things are so absurd on their face that almost no one could ever truly believe in them. Does anyone actually want to be in the position of having to defend some cross-dressing man who's crying because he can't disrobe in front of women in a woman's change room? Now, they've defended it. The wokies have talked about it, but some people, I'm sure on the left, are just like, come on, man. Let us move back to the middle a little bit. And I think we're starting to see it now, thank God. Now, let's get to a clip of one of the biggest race baiters in the media, Roland Martin. This guy is insane. And then Nina Turner melting down over DEI being done with. Let's go.
I was in a chat and somebody said, hey, and the way we need to respond to these people, we need to tout our degrees. No, I'm not doing that. I need every black person listen to me right now. And if I sat here and had Nola lay out her credentials and Greg lay out his credentials and Reese lay out her credentials and I lay out my credentials, let me tell you something. These white races, it don't matter. We could have 7 degrees each. You know what they're going to say? You're a DEI hire. You're a DEI hire. And all y'all white women, they talking to your ass. When the fires broke out, that white woman who was a fire chief in Los Angeles, they call her a DEI hire. You know why? Because she a lesbian. They sat there, they will call you whatever. If I showed y'all how they hit Nancy Mace, Nancy Mace was defending herself. Oh, I did this and I got into the Citadel. And them white men like Matt Walsh said, oh yeah, that was a male only place and you sued and that's how you got in. So you got in because of DEI. These white racists, they want heterosexual white men running everything. And guess what, all you dumbass white women, 52% that voted for Donald Trump, they can't stand your ass. I keep telling y'all white women, they want your ass to stay in that kitchen. The only clock they want you to look at is the clock on the stove. They want you to lay down, shut up, don't even moan and birth their babies and stay at home and take care of them. And y'all silly asses vote along with these white men. They don't want your ass in the workplace. They are mad as hell that y'all now can get jobs. These white men, they want America from the 1930s and 40s and 50s when white women knew their place, when black people knew their place, when Asian people knew their place. And all Asian folk, y'all can keep, I love it how y'all sued Harvard and won and got rid of affirmative action, but then the white folks kept whiting and kept their places at Harvard and y'all numbers dropped. Then y'all want to holler, y'all want some quotas.
Well,
yeah.
That was
I think
Ed
they want
Blum.
certain women in the workplace just to look at them, not to be functional.
No. They don't even want to look at the white women in the workplace. They don't even want to look at them.
I think so.
No, they don't even want to look at it. They don't want their asses there. And if they are there, they want them to shut the hell up, wear low plunge outfits, and don't say nothing. That's what they want. So people just need to understand what we're dealing with here. I need Democrats to stop trying to reason with these crazy people. People say, oh no, we need to be able to go talk to them. You cannot reason with a racist and a sexist who wants to tell you they are not a racist and a sexist.
Hold on. You talk. Now let me make a point. I have not heard from the Trump administration. I've listened to every one of Donald Trump's press conferences since he took office. I listened to all Pete Hegseth's press conferences and Sean Duffy's. I didn't hear any of them say that if somebody who was black, blue, red, green, short, tall, female, male, whatever, got a job, it was because of lowered standards. I didn't hear that. You're changing the goalposts.
They are saying that.
No, they didn't.
They are saying that. It is called a dog whistle. They are saying that. In 2020, it was Black Lives Matter, right? In 2022, it was CRT. In 2024, it was woke. And now in 2025, it is DEI. All of that is
you just can't give it, but you're the one making
Leland,
this about race. They're the ones making it about merit.
They're the one that's making Leland. They're the ones that are making this about race. Now I didn't know you want to do this dance with me tonight. You should have told me I would have wore different dance shoes. They are making this about race. Every time I turn around, they're talking about DEI. They're making this about race.
Why? Okay, hold on. You're the one conflating. Hold on. Let me finish.
No, I'm not.
Let me finish. Okay? You're the one who's saying DEI equals race. They're the ones who say, we don't want DEI. It doesn't matter about race. We want merit.
No, but they're turning around in a backhanded way. See, you need to come on and travel through the black community with me and have this conversation in the black community. I want to invite you to do that because most black people understand what is going on here.
Yeah, what we have to remember, guys, is that a lot of these people on the left have made millions and millions and millions, and I'll go again, millions of dollars making money off of promoting this stuff. They write books on it. This is their whole identity. Their whole identity is I'm black or I'm female. But now the cultural tide is changing and the pressure to pretend has been greatly lifted. A lot of people on the left, I'm seeing it. Again, I'm going back to the more classic, older generation of liberals, are done with it. The true believers of DEI and gender ideology now are looking around, discovering that they are getting to be without allies. The trans activists, the DEI race hustlers that were holding all these people hostage, society hostage, such a small percent of the population we had to bend the knee to, is no longer working. The right's political and cultural victories have taken away their ammunition. And it's just hard to keep your hostages at bay or in line when you find out that your gun has no bullets anymore. People have been liberated, and I think that's why a lot of people that were originally maybe classic liberals vote for Trump this time, because this is not your dad's Republican Party. I'm somebody who identifies as conservative, but I am politically homeless. I vote for people that have my conservative values. I grew up very conservative. That happens to shift one day, and for some weird reason, there's a party that is more conservative than, say, the Republicans. This has become the party of common sense. A lot of the classic liberal values are represented with Trump. Merit, keeping your borders safe, more money in your pocket. People are done with this leftoid ideology, this woke nonsense. Trump won on these policies. He won every frigging swing state because people are done with this bullshit. They're done. They want a safer border. They want their mothers, daughters, sisters, sons being safe. They want more money in their pocket. They want a thriving economy. They want to stop homelessness, stop funding these endless wars, bring money back into the country. We are done with this nonsense. We've been held prisoners from the left with this shit for too long, and now it's ending, and it's great that it's ending. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button for your boy. Consider subscribing to the channel. Help it grow. Catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.